Hello and welcome to Lovely English Stories. Thank you for stopping by. This story is written for intermediate English learners. Ready? Let's get started. B1, B2 English Story. The Summer Child. The days were getting longer and the nights shorter. The sun seemed to go on forever. Jessica wasn't complaining. She loved the sun. The summer seemed to be the time of year when Jessica would start to reassess her life. She was no longer stuck indoors, cold, and fed up watching endless TV shows and baking cakes to try and keep herself happy. Now she could go outdoors as much as she liked. She could ride her bike, swim in the lake, drink cider under her favourite tree, and read her book in a deck chair on the beach. She could enjoy the sounds of the birds and insects pottering away in her garden and relax into a slower pace of life. Summer made Jessica wonder whether she was living in the wrong country and climate. She felt like her batteries were recharging, like she had energy and her zest for life was back. Perhaps if she made the brave jump to move to a warmer country, she would always feel this way. In the winter, Jessica felt grey and drawn. She was forever feeling lank, lifeless, and dull. She would look in the mirror and see a grey shadow of her summer self looking back at her. She was pale, with bags under her eyes, and no matter how much she slept, she always felt tired. Jessica tried many things to attempt to remedy her winter blues. She bought vitamins and supplements, and she went on the sunbed, which she knew wasn't good for her, but she was willing to give anything a go. She also tried to get as much sunlight as possible, which can prove difficult in England when the skies are often covered with fluffy grey clouds. In the summer, Jessica made a conscious effort to make the very most of her time. She set her alarm early, got up, went for a run, then came home, had breakfast, and went to work. On her lunch break, she always went for a walk and ate her lunch in the local park while listening to a podcast, or if she went with a colleague, chatting about the latest office politics. In the evenings, she met friends, went for walks, or took part in park runs to get her daily step count up. On the weekends, she often went away. She had saved up and worked hard to be able to afford a camper van, which seems to be every British person's dream. She would drive off, sometimes with friends, and explore local woodland, parks, and cycle trails. Her soul felt full again. Jessica decided to look into what she would need to do to work abroad during the winter months and whether she could make it a reality. She spoke to her manager and floated the idea of remote working. She also looked into tax implications and the realities of moving abroad for a few months. As she didn't have any children or pets, she was free to do as she wished. She also liked the idea of meeting someone special abroad and maybe, one day, moving there. But she didn't want to get carried away. She realised that life wasn't always like in the films. After a few weeks of consideration by her managers, They agreed to let Jessica have 2 months during the winter months when she was allowed to work from anywhere. She was so grateful that she had such a flexible employer who valued their staff and their skills enough to realize what was good for their growth and their mental health. Once she had the go-ahead, she decided she would leave England in January and spend the coldest months of the year in the southern Spanish sun. She was lucky that her cousin had a Spanish best friend who offered to help her find some short-term accommodation. Jessica couldn't wait to spend the winter months in a warmer climate. She made plans to take a Spanish course in the evenings, and she signed up for cooking and dance classes. She felt invigorated by the prospects ahead. Of course, she still had to work for the majority of the time while she was in Spain, but Jessica couldn't wait to savour the warmer weather, enjoy a new culture, and feel like a summer child all year round. Now, let's go through some of the vocabulary from this story. We'll start with the advanced English vocabulary. Supplement. Supplement. A supplement is something that is added to something else in order to improve it or complete it. A supplement is something extra. Implication. Implication is an occasion when you seem to suggest something without saying it directly. Recharge. To recharge. To recharge is to get new energy or to give new energy to something. You can recharge your batteries. Now let's go through some of the intermediate English vocabulary from this story. Conscious. Conscious means determined and intentional. Consideration. Consideration is the act of thinking about something carefully. Endless. If something is endless, it is never finishing or seeming to never finish. Majority. The majority is the larger number or part of something. Mental health. Mental health is the condition of someone's mind and whether or not they are suffering from any mental illness. So we have our physical health and our mental health. Pace. Pace is the speed at which someone or something moves, or with which something happens or changes. Prospects. Prospects is the possibility that something good might happen in the future. We all want to have good prospects. Reality. Reality is the state of things as they are, rather than as they are imagined to be. Remedy. A remedy is a successful way of curing an illness or dealing with a problem or a difficulty. Remote working. Since COVID, remote working has become much more popular and accepted. Remote working is the practice of an employee working at their home or in some other place that is not an organization's usual place of business. So it gives them flexibility to work in different places. Sunlight. Sunlight is the light that comes from the sun. Trail. A trail is a path through a countryside, mountain, or forest area, often made or used for a particular purpose. You can have walking trails, cycling trails, dog walking trails. Vitamin. Americans pronounce this vitamin, but in England we say vitamin, and this is any of a group of natural substances that are necessary in small amounts for the growth and good health of our bodies. For example, you might take a vitamin C supplement or an iron vitamin supplement. We hope you enjoyed this lovely English story and the vocabulary explanations. Thank you for stopping by, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Get productive and check out our language learning productivity packs on Etsy. Use code YouTube10 for 10% off. You can find the link in the description box below. See you soon!